Hey Stampin' friends, it's Kat. I wanted to share with you this card. Good friends are hard to find, and on the inside, and you are one of the best. Pretty simple, doesn't take long at all to make, but I did use embossing paste right here, the brand new Stampin' Up! Embossing paste, and I used just a little bit of the soft suede in it to give it the brown effect. Doesn't take long at all, and this is actually the first time I have personally made a card using embossing paste. I did it with my Stampin' Up! Group at Melissa Kerman, my upline, at her house, but I knew that my first time using it, I would use the brick mask. There are 3 other masks that come with it. It is the Pattern Party Decorative Masks, and it has some clouds, a trellis, and this really cool, like, decorative medallion design. Medallion. But those are the, I knew that I would love the bricks because I love wood texture packs and all that. So just this real quick simple card, and we start with, I did the long ways, we did the regular 8.5 by 11 sheet, Whisper White cut in half, did it long ways, fold it in half, and use the bone folder to cut it. Go ahead and put it aside. And this is from the Wood Textures Designer Series paper. This is one of my favorite papers. There's so many different ones in it. I've already used quite a few so far, but chose this one. Since this is a 6 by 6 stack, I chose to cut this down to be just barely on the card. Just a little bit. So it's 4 by 5 1/4, which I have the dimensions right there on the side, 4 by 5 1/4. And I used the Lovely Friends stamp set. I've been actually tried so many times to do a card with this. Good Friends Are Hard to Find, and it's so big. Good Friends Are Hard to Find. It's so big, it takes up so much of the card, and I have not found a good paper that I liked with it. And this was the very first paper that I liked with it, because it needs a very simple background. So what I did is I stamped Good Friends Are Hard to Find with my soft suede. When it's a really big stamp like this, I do it the opposite way. Instead of putting the stamp on the ink pad, I put the ink pad on the stamp, like that. Make sure you have your soft mat behind, because I always find that it stamps so much better and so much more crisp. Make sure it's nice and straight. Can't push too hard on this one, because I find that you can see how the dark portion's there, because it's with the photopolymer that happens sometimes, quite often actually, to tell you the truth. Got it, perfect, exactly how I wanted it. And before I do anything, I sponged the edges on this one, but I think what I'm gonna do, I'd sponge a second, and I think I'm gonna keep with that. So now I'm gonna use the embossing paste. So make sure to put that away. And when I did it on that one, I did about 3 layers down, or 2.5 layers down, but not quite all the way across, and use painter's tape to keep it on. But be careful with your painter's tape too, because I have ripped my paper using my painter's tape, so just make sure that you do it the way you want to. I have it right about there. Make sure it's nice and even. Put that down flat. I'm going to do it on this side flat, so that way it keeps it in spot with just barely any on there. So, embossing paste comes with, you can get the 3 palette knives. There's 3 different ones. I personally like this one the best. These 2 are good for getting the paste out of the container, but I'm using it with this. I'm just using, you can use a silicone craft sheet, which I don't have, but I do have an order. And I'm just using something plastic that I can just wipe it off with when I'm done. Don't need a lot. I mean, this should be absolutely plenty. So I'm going to put this on here like this, and I'm going to put just a drop. Not even an entire drop, like maybe a half a drop, because I don't want it to be too dark. Oh, I got a whole drop, but that's okay. And when I mix it, I personally don't like to mix it too much. If you mix it too much, then it's solid, the same color, and I like in my designs to have like a mixture of colors. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to take it and literally just wipe it on. Just wipe it on. Make sure not to go past that point on the bottom half of the card, which I have done plenty of times when I was practicing this. I did put tape on the bottom, then I'm like, okay, then that will prevent me from going past that point. But when I did that, then I ripped it from the tape. So it's a catch-22. So I just decided to make sure I'm really careful right here. Okay, I think I have that how I want it. So I'm so OCD, I like it to be smooth, not be super texture. Some people like it having super texture. I don't. I like just pretty even texture. Awesome. Perfect. See how that came out? Love it. So now what I'm going to do, actually, you can put it aside and let it dry for a while, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my heat embossing tool, and I'm going to dry it. Doesn't take too long, just maybe 15-20 seconds. And it will dry because it dries really fast. And it will dry if you put it to the side if you want to, but for the sake of this card, I'm going to dry it using this. I don't have the patience anyways. So this is where we are. We've got that top portion done. And now I am going to do the side. What I did last time, just the same way. That way, you gotta be careful because the embossing paste, that one's not quite dry, but I'm gonna put this on right here so you guys can see it. Put it right there, up just a little bit, make sure it's nice and even. Top of my head, isn't it lovely? Okay. Now I have my embossing paste that I had over here. I have just a little bit. Put it back right on here. Looks like it's nice and smooth. I don't have to, I mean, some people do it tons and tons over and over and over. I don't like to do it over and over and over personally. I do it just a few times. Nice and soft to pull the painter's tape off. If you do it too hard, you rip the paper. Looks like I did just a little tiny bit, but let's see if we can fix it and make it look like it's part of the card. Or not. There we go. It should be fine. Make sure to clean that up right away. I will clean mine as soon as I finish this video, but you got to clean it pretty quickly, otherwise it messes up. But here it's done. I'm going to emboss real quick, and then I'm going to sponge, but every time it's just a little bit different. You get some different colors. I like the look of this one where it has the multiple colors going through it, sort of. Okay. Just pretty quick. It probably could be done longer, but I don't want to take too much time. So I'm going to sponge the edge. The other one I sponged it softer. This one I think I'm going to put a little bit more of a sponge on. Just different effects, different looks. Depends on exactly what you're going for. I try really hard not to make something without a sponge, and then I find I sponge almost every single one of my cards. I don't know why I do. Just everybody likes something different. That's what I like. I'm silly. I don't know why. That's just my look that I like. This one has a little bit more of a sponge effect to it than the other one did. So this one's just a little bit darker, as you can see by looking at it. Every time it's going to be different. Just a smidge darker, but that's just how it is. And then that's it. That's all we're going to do for the front, except for put my gold faceted gems. But this is I'm going to attach to the front. Don't want to get this on the card, so I'm going to flip over my grid paper. I'm going to attach this piece of paper using my snail adhesive. I attach most of my stuff. Just my standard paper. Snail adhesive is my favorite. Some people like other things. I like the snail adhesive personally. Oh, got a little bit of it on here. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm going to attach it in there, just like that. Done. Like to rub on it like this to make sure it gets in on there nice and tight. Yep, see there still was a little bit of ink. It's not quite dry, but close enough. Good friends are hard to find. Now I'm going to put my faceted gems on here. On the other one I made, I'm going to put this one here, one here, and then the other one over here on this big spot here. This one, I have it right here because I got a little bit of ink right there. and so I wanted to cover it up. So that's why I put these on there in the first place, but I liked it. I like golds. I mean, I have lots of neutral tones. I find that neutral tones is my go-to for most of what I do. And then I have my, on the inside, I have, and you are one of the best. So I'm going to stamp that you are one of the best right here in the center. The best. Awesome. And the last thing I did was, it's a really old stamp. This is from, I have to go back and look at it, but I thought this was perfect for the bottom. It looks like the wood grain and everything like that. I have to be just right on this because last time I did this, actually I stamped a little bit on my craft mat. Perfect. And you are one of the best. Super simple, didn't take too long. And my last one, always put my copyright on the back. Copyright, stamp it up. Right there. There you go. Good friends are hard to find, and you are one of the best. Pretty simple. First time I'm using embossing powder. The embossing paste. Use embossing powder all the time. Both were made with soft suede, but you can see the different colors. This one's a little bit darker, and this one's a little bit more lighter. I like them both. Just two totally different effects with the same kind of paper and everything like that. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. By Papercrafting by Kat is my website right there along the bottom of the screen. I have some other blog posts on there on how to make other cards, and if you like what you saw and you want to subscribe, so that way you can be one of the first people that find out about my new updates whenever I post something on YouTube. I would love to have you do that. Please subscribe today. Thank you, friends, and I will talk to you and craft with you soon. Have a good day.